Well,
Okay.
hello everyone, and thank you for coming to join myself, Rosby, and Miss Heather Sally for a wonderful occasion. Did you guys know that this was National Textiles Day?
National
Well,
Textiles Day. It's a big day to celebrate, ladies
it's a
and
big
men.
day. Yes, it's a big day to celebrate, and I got a treat for you. Actually, let's just get straight to it. I met this wonderful, beautiful lady on
Right.
Clubhouse. Yes, I met her on Clubhouse. Was it 48 hours ago?
Oh, like hours ago.
24.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely less than 3 days.
but I tell you what, when you have discernment and know a great heart when you see it and feel it, you just know it down on the inside.
Oh, and I
Chapter
knew as soon as I heard you speak, you just spoke to me. Your voice, your energy, everything. It's so funny because we're so used to doing that in person now, and I think our vibes, our spidey senses are starting to, be heightened and pick that up on visual and audible, right? Because
it
we don't get to
right,
see people anymore
it
in real life.
right. We have definitely had to make some adjustments in our COVID environment. I don't know what the new norm will ever be. But I just think we have to learn how to pivot, adapt, and evolve. As we go along in life. So, but
And I
it's
love it because we're connected and we are not even in the same country.
exactly, and
It's
that
so great.
I know. Well, I tell you what, I am going to stop talking. I'll introduce myself and then introduce you, tell people a little bit about yourself and how we are celebrating this wonderful day. For those of you who don't know, I'm Rosalind Booker, Ros B, as Ros B, and I'm the principal broker, CEO of Arbrook Realty, and we are a full service real estate company here in the North Texas area. Yes, we do help people birth their dreams and build legacies in real estate. We help buyers and sellers alike, and we help a few commercial clients with tenant representation. And we are great at what we do, but we are only as good as our alliances. And after 25, going on 26 years of being in the real estate industry, I know I started when I was two. People's like, you've been in it that long? Yes, I've seen a couple of the waves, the ups and downs. But what I do recognize is I am only as good as the value add and the value that I bring my clients. And I don't know it all. I know people think I know it all. I don't know it all. That's why I bring people like Heather here on the show and highlight her so that you, home buyers, home sellers, are educated on things that you have questions on. So it is National Textiles Day again. And I learned something new today that textiles didn't always mean fabric, as in cloth. It's an array of a combination of things that make up design. So, Miss Heather, tell people who you are, how you got started, and take it away.
Okay, so I won't be too boring. My name is Heather Sally Design, and I've got a company up here in Toronto, or just outside of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I was explaining to Roz that we are in a current stay at home lockdown order. Our kids are homeschooling until May 20th. So it's a little challenging right now. And so celebrating a day like National Textile Day is very exciting because at least we can change out some pillows and bring some happiness in. And I do interior design and home staging. There's the real estate market's been nuts here in Canada. I can only imagine what it's been like in the US. And we do a little bit of editorial styling as well, which is kind of fun for, TV and editorial print work for businesses. So that's a little bit about what we do. And I'll just get right into it and tell you that, textiles from a design perspective, we always love textiles. We love how things feel and are they fuzzy? Are they smooth? From like a vinyl to a embroidered heavy tapestry fabric. There's There's all of these beautiful things with textiles. And I think one of the best things that we love right now is with globalization, we have been able to make textiles from around the world more accessible to people like us here in North America, which is so great.
Hmm.
And oh dear, sorry. And without having um, to worry about long shipping times or it's just a neat way of globalization. It's just a neat thing that we're able to import textiles from India and Indonesia, and they have such beautiful colors and patterns to them that I don't know, I just feel like we're maybe not as creative over here, but so having said that, there is also this huge push for fabrics that come from um, sustainable sources and recycled sources. So nowadays, fabrics are being made out of repurposed and recycled plastics. We've got
Wow.
wood. Oh yeah, there's a huge movement. There's even outside of interiors, running shoes and clothing, but um, fabrics for pillow covers and uh, toss cushions and things like that. We're trying to clear the ocean of all of the plastics that we've polluted it with. And what better way to do that and then to repurpose it into something that we all love, right?
Right.
And yeah, so so the trends, that's kind of where we are globally in terms of trends and innovation. And trends are always driven by and advances in technology. So no matter the types of furniture that we have, and you can see that through the decades and through design, from the 50s and 60s, from woods to plastics to things like that. So having these beautiful textiles available to us is amazing. You just plug it in on Amazon, plug it in, do a Google search, and there you go. So one of the things that we love to do, and please feel free to interrupt at any time and ask
Oh,
any
I will. I
questions.
will.
Okay, good, good, good. Ask any questions that you might. But one of the
Sure.
things that we love to do, like for the change of the season, is just change out your cushion covers. So instead of buying new pillows and having to store your new pillows, we just bring in fresh patterns and fresh colors in the form of a zip-on cover. So we keep the body of the cushion.
Nice.
Yes. And so instead of having to store stacks and stacks of pillows, you've got just hopefully a smaller home edit version of some pillow covers. And we can do that for,
So, so
holidays. And
Heather, let me ask you this. With that type of pillow, are you ripping or tearing off the existing cover or just simply
no.
inserting, making a cover to go over a cover?
Oh, you're just making a cover to go over top of your shell. So let's say you go to Target and you find yourself a pretty pillow that you love. But maybe it's got the Grinch on it. And you're going to flip it over for the new season. So go on Amazon and just search, what measure out your size of your pillow. We can put that in the comments, how to do that. But measure out your pillow. You can do a search for, let's say, 18-inch cushion covers on Amazon. You guys can try it right now. And you will
Okay.
see the selection that comes up. Amazon, Wayfair, all of those places. And they literally come with zippers, and you can pop it over top of your existing cushions. And it's such a nice way to change up the look of your house without having to spend a fortune.
You just gave me a total idea that
Oh, okay.
you can change the whole aura and
Oh,
vibe of
yes.
the room just by going to get some fabric and making a pillow cover. I didn't think of that. I just,
Oh, yeah.
didn't think of that.
And that's all part of the sustainability mindset as well, because then we're not buying more cushions, we're not buying more of the stuffing inside. Like we have one pillow. Well, in most of our cases, maybe on our couches we got 5 or 6 or 10. but then we literally cover them up with some fabric, and you can literally change the look of an entire room. Okay, I gotta get you guys to visualize for a second here. Imagine you've got a family room with a neutral L-shaped sectional couch with, a neutral carpet. Maybe you've got a wood coffee table. Maybe you've got a glass coffee table. So imagine now you go on and you buy yourself some boho Indonesian textured cushion covers that are maybe in a black and a white when they've got knots on them and some tassels, and load your couch up with those and a beautiful blanket with some herringbone patterns and maybe some embroidery on it. So you're getting this sort of earthy, natural kind of vibe. Change it
Right.
up, get yourself some. So now just scratch that whole idea, and then you're going to go on and you're going to get some faux Angora pillows and some like white and maybe some pale peach, and add a little bit of bling here and there, and make me put some silver candlesticks instead of, like you can just change the look and the feel of a room literally just by changing a few pieces of fabric, a few pieces of
Right.
textiles. Like, it's very simple.
That is amazing. So I am obviously a person that loves a color that pops. Um,
Obviously.
yeah, obvious. Lime green, yeah, turquoise, and the blue family.
Yes.
So, is there a particular time for that in terms of staging, decorating, or does anything go?
You know what? Nowadays, anything goes. So, and I do want to distinguish the difference between decorating to stage and decorating to live. So there are two different things for
Gotcha.
that, right? That two very different things. But if we're talking about decorating for living, oh no, put that pop of color, whatever brings you joy, put that pop of color wherever you can get it, wherever you can find it. I love that. And for the most part, if you've got your blues and greens, stay within a certain color family. Like, we don't want to be mixing bright reds with bright oranges necessarily. There could be a time and a place for that, but bring in your pop of color with a couple of neutrals. And that
Got
applies to, if there's for the spring and the fall, like if you want to bring in some pumpkin colored cushions to go with your pumpkin spice, and
nice.
some of that, then that's great. And when it comes to spring, you can bring in your purples, your yellows, like you can bring in some of those. So it's always nice. Pops of color are great.
Nice, nice. So, what are you seeing trending in terms of colors? I was doing a little bit of research, and this term and this color, millennial pink, came up. Is
Oh yes, millennial pink is that was a big trend almost 2 years ago now. And so that's kind of started to phase out, but we still see that, like that pretty soft, like blush color, which is very soft. And there's a theory behind soft colors being close to nature,
mm,
when soft and close to nature when the economy is not doing great, when people want to hibernate and shelter at home. There's this need to sort of connect to the earth. And so typically we would see colors that soft coming in. But I think because people have been home for so long,
mhm.
we are seeing these pops of colors. So um, we've got bright coral, Benjamin Moore's. We've got these corals and these blues and these turquoises that are coming in.
Yes,
Because I think people still want to feel connected to nature, maybe more the beach these days, because nobody's getting
it's
to the beach.
exactly.
And exactly. And with those types of colors, we're still being connected to nature, but they're still being in a brighter, more vibrant kind of way. We have seen the boho and that soft, and I think that's still going to continue to trend. Farmhouse
Right.
is still trending. Farmhouse is still going hard. Um,
Farmhouse.
yeah, yeah, and
So, are you
um,
seeing the farmhouse kitchens much anymore?
You know what? We're seeing farmhouse, but I think people are starting to tire of it, right? It's
Mm,
getting people want something new and fresh now, and I think because people are spending so much time at home, again, like
yeah.
maybe we don't want to see those big pops of color in places like tile or on the floors and places like that. So I think we're seeing a trend to go in neutral a little bit more. We're still seeing lots of grays. I thought gray was going to be
Yes.
out,
In
and
and out.
yeah, but it's still there. It's still going. So
Yeah.
farmhouse is still going. And I think too, it depends on where you live, right?
Right.
Here
Right.
in Canada, we have 4 seasons, right? So we get those harsh, long, cold winters. So, anything that's comfort, anything that's nesting, anything that makes us feel like we want to hibernate and stay in, that's in. But if you're living in a place that's hot all year round, those big bright colors, those um pops of vibrancy, like everyone's craving all of that so much. So I think we'll continue to see those colors on the uptick as we go.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
see a lot of homes, and it appears that the darker cabinets and the darker countertops, fabrications are coming back. Are you seeing that?
We are, but it's interesting because there was a lot of white kitchen cabinetry with gray bases. Now we're coming in, again, there's this need for color, these beautiful
Mhm.
emerald greens and these beautiful rich navies. They're absolutely gorgeous, and you'll see that
Oh,
those are starting to come into
come back.
kitchens, little bits and pieces here and there. And
Yeah.
again, we look at that from a textile perspective. Like I look at tiles and tiles that have texture to them and the cabinetry at the bottom that has some texture and some life to it rather than just these flat, plain old white cabinets. Like we've got some depth and some pattern and some, a couple of things happening, but not too much, not too busy.
Awesome. Well, that's awesome
Yeah.
to hear about these new trends. Let's talk about real quick, Heather, about staging and kind of like a run through of a checklist of to dos and maybe not to dos.
So the first thing I say to clients when we go in, which is not always what they want to hear, like you no longer live in your house. And we apologize profusely, and it's not that we don't like what it is that you have in your house. Our objectives as stagers is to create a vision for someone else. So if we include these vibrant colors and textures and whatnot in our decor, it takes away from the bones of the house. And we really want people to see not just the couch that's in there and not for them to fall in love with the couch. We want them to fall in love with the home. And we come in ideally, maybe the couch has to be here to on this wall to watch um the TV ideally. But when we want to generate the flow of traffic or for people to see how this house or other pieces of furniture is going to live in their space, like if they want to buy this new space, we really want neutral. And those bright blue walls, we generally like to paint them out, depending on the colors of the floors and the cabinetry and the woodwork that's in there. It is still a tone of gray or a tone of beige. Revere Pewter and Gray Owl by Benjamin Moore are two of our like standard go-tos because they're soft and they're neutral. We sometimes we do bring in little bits of color because we don't want the canvas, so to speak, to be plain. But we have a couple of rules. It's like nothing religious, nothing personal, and no alcohol. So when we stage, we don't want any of those things in there. Just it helps to maintain the privacy of the person that's living there. Somebody else is coming in. We don't need them to know what our religious practices are. We don't need them to know whether we're alcoholics or not. Like we don't, so we try to eliminate those things and just make it a very neutral place for people to come into. So that's that's sort of the start of it. And I had said I would include a list that I usually send to all the homeowners that we work with and the real estate agents of some of the basics that we ask homeowners do. And it's just sort of a checklist, because when you start to um, when you start to live in your house, when you live in your house for a long time, you do forget to maybe dust those extra light fixtures. We get homeowners to do things like take the glass off your light fixtures and toss them in the dishwasher and give them a little clean, and maybe pull the fridge out and check for the dust bunnies, and some of those things. Oh, sorry, did you cut out? Did I cut out?
Looking for the
I,
unmute. You would think with 8 eyes I could find the unmute button, but I was gonna
oh,
say
I'm like,
dishwasher. I mean that's something, that's another thing that I just learned. Wow.
oh yeah. Well, fridge and dishwasher, we want to make sure too, sometimes we have slow leaks that we're not aware of, as we live in our homes again. My kids come home, they're not always the neatest. And so sometimes they dump the stuff in there, they're dripping water, they're doing this. So anything that could possibly be a deterrent. Because here in Canada, most of the time when we do, now not so much in the real estate market these days, but you know, the home comes with a condition of inspection. And when those home inspectors come through, man, they are brutal. And so we like to do a walkthrough with the real estate agent and our homeowners, just to make sure that it's almost like doing an inspection, just to make sure, the furnace filters are clean, any ductwork is repaired, those types of things. Are you muted again? I could keep talking. I could
Let's
just go
keep
on.
talking. You're doing a great job. You know, I think as homeowners, they're so vested in their homes. They're in love with their homes, and they don't want to take down the 18 pictures that they have on the wall. Um, you
Yes.
know, they don't want to take down the family pictures, that are taking up a whole room. So how do you sell that?
Well, we sell it in terms of dollar and cents, because at the end of the day, if somebody is selling their house, we know that they want top dollar for their home. And we don't necessarily have a sliding scale, but when we go up and take a look at comparables, I often do some of the research that like a real estate agent would do. And I say, okay, pull me up the comparables, see what our previous competition was, see what our current competition is. Sometimes if there's been a buzz on the street, this house is going up, and then, they're gonna, the neighbors up the street, well, like, maybe we'll put our house up. If they got that much for their house, what about us? Maybe we'll throw that up there too and see what we can get.
Yes.
And right, so it depends on how invested your homeowner is in moving and how much revenue they want to generate. We had a lady, I had a client who her carpet was blue, and I'm talking like the blue of your shirt. Like, I love that color of your shirt. It is beautiful, but her carpets were that color, her walls were that color,
My.
drapes were that color, and she was in love with her home, and she had a really hard time understanding why we wanted to change that. And when we brought the painters, so we replaced the car. Now this is, I mean, again, do you this is your choice. Do you want to sell your house as is and maybe not get as much money for it, or do you want to put in the time and the effort and see what else you can get, like see how much extra you can get? I usually go, I sit down with the real estate agent, I'll say, okay, realistically, what's the top end? Because I feel like a lot of houses do have a top end, right? So if
Yeah.
you're at a house and you've got a bigger footprint and a bigger lot, but you're maybe not as pretty inside, I think that you could be at a different advantage. But I
Right.
just right, so maybe you don't have to take down as many of those family pictures. But the other thing I always say to people too is, I don't want a bunch of strangers coming through my house looking at my family memories. I don't
Right.
want people to know who I am. The people who buy my house, that's a different story. But do I want people coming in looking at those baby pictures or those intimate moments of my family? No way. Do I
Right.
want them coming in, if I have any family heirlooms or especially sports memorabilia? The men always want to keep their sports memorabilia in the basement. Don't take
Right.
that off the wall. That's my basketball jersey. That's my, football jersey. Like, don't be taking that off the wall. I'm like, but you know what? Again, it doesn't happen very often, but people then see what you have in your house. Like, are you opening yourself up to theft? Are
Right.
you opening yourself, you're opening up all these cans of worms, and you're letting strangers get a preview of your life. So there's two factors to that, to answer your
Right.
question. The first
Mhm.
one is, really, as stagers and realtors, we really want to get you top dollar for your home, but we also want to protect your privacy and protect the privacy of your family. And those are the two things that we really try to do. So taking some of those things off, and I think when people understand that, most people like, yeah, you know what, I don't want Joe Schmo from the next county over coming in to take a
Right.
look at my house, because and again, it's not so much nowadays where we don't have those open houses, but when you had an open house, like, anybody could walk into your house.
Yes. Well, we're in a hot market. We breathe and a home is sold. Okay. So, I'm like
That's yeah.
sold,
So,
sold to the one who breathed, and we got 50 other offers. But, I have some requests that, well, no, I don't want to do staging,
right.
and why do we even have to do photography?
Oh, really?
Because this house is going to sell. So they're like, it could be a
Right.
piece of junk, and they don't have to declutter, and they don't have to do anything.
Well, if they
In
gotta sell, they gotta declutter anyways,
Yeah, they have to anyway. And
or
my
they
thing
will have
is,
to.
I mean, come on, we have integrity. You're gonna look back and say, like, you invited the most precious guest, whoever they esteem the highest, into your house, and you want it to look like this. Is this the last impression? And for some, it's the dollar that counts. But I know all too true that they could get a whole lot more for their home if people can come in, walk, and visualize, and they be captivated with an aha moment, right?
Well, imagine, new home builders, when they're putting up these developments, there's a reason they create model homes that are fully furnished with furniture that none of us can ever afford. And, draperies that we're never going to have, or, light fixture, all of these beautiful things, because they want people to fall in love with the space. But it's not just the space. I want people to fall in love with a feeling. This is my home.
Yes.
I'm gonna come in. Oh my God, my kids and my husband and I, we're gonna watch TV on that couch. And the husband's like, oh, I'm gonna watch the game in the basement. Or, oh, we're gonna have such a great time in the backyard. You're creating a feeling. You're not just creating a look, you're creating a feeling. And again, for anybody who really doesn't want to stage and to put that effort in, we do two things. We do talk about the money factor oftentimes, and I think I had said I will include some pictures of before and afters, so
Good.
that you can see, and your viewers and your network can see sort of some of the things that we've done. And it applies because, like I said, we're here in Canada. We're in a completely different demographic. We're in a completely different place, but making a space look neutral, and making it look, my goal is to make your house look like a magazine, right? So that people walk in, they
Absolutely.
go, oh my God, this is so beautiful. And it is never to live. I walk out of people's homes and I'm like, thank you for letting us disrupt your space. You
Mhm.
never have to live like this again. You only have to live like this until your
Right.
sale is done, and then you're over, and then you can put all your kids' toys back, and
Yeah.
your boots in the front hallway and all that kind of stuff. You can put all that stuff back, like, once we're done. But
Yes. But
it's just to clean it up.
I consider staging like creating an atmosphere. I'll say that because why do we leave our homes to go on a vacation? Why do we leave our homes to do a staycation? Maybe a nice hotel in town. We're we're creating an atmosphere. We're creating a space. And that's, I hear what you're saying. That's what you're creating for those who are walking inside of the house. So, real quickly, and we want to wrap this up soon.
We're gonna wrap
What's
it up. I thought we were just getting started.
we just what is the difference between design and staging?
So staging is meant to create a very neutral space that anybody with any taste can envision themselves coming in and moving their family in, or moving themselves in, or them and their pets, or whoever is coming in, them and their grandma. We want to have people come into a neutral space so that they can imagine their own things in that space. And people really can't see past color and texture and paints and those types of things. So they can't have a vision for what their space might look like. Whereas when we do interior design, we really want to focus on the person that's living there. We really want to
Gotcha.
focus on what's your favorite color, because that's what we're going to put in, that's what we're going to put on your walls. And what kind of couch do you want, who's going to function where. So it's about function. So we want the house to function really well for the space. And nowadays everyone's got a home office at their dining room table, and those types of things, right?
Right.
Right? So everyone's got like a couple of home offices, maybe some homeschooling happening in their home. So we really try to target our design on function first, and then it's the pretty layers come after. And we want those pretty layers to be so personal to the people that live there. And then when we come in and stage, we just rip it all away from you. Like,
I know. It's like what happened? What happened to my fantasy? Yeah.
yeah, what happened to my pretty house? What happened to the things that I love? So yeah, so that's the difference. I mean, interior design is very personal, whereas staging is very neutral. It's it's general.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well,
Yeah.
Heather, gosh, this has been so fun. We'll have to do this again in another
Oh, we're
capacity.
gonna have to do this again. And I feel as though we should, if your viewers have any questions, if any, please feel free to filter them down. I'm happy to answer questions. We can post like Q&A on your Facebook page if you want. I had said I'm going to pass along to you a list of
Yes.
some basic tips, like if you're getting ready to sell your house, kind of before, even before the real estate agent shows up. So I like homeowners to do certain things, and then so I can pass that along to you. And then I'm happy to pass along some before and after pictures. And we do have clients, by the way, who say that they don't want to sell, and their house will sometimes sit on the market for longer than other people's. And they're like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Told you, you should have painted that wall gray."
Yes. True story. We had a client that had some pretty deep colors that were not popping at that time, and they were more of the maroons, the dark,
Oh, that
those
is
type.
so 2002, the hunter greens and
You
the maroon
already
and the
know.
burgundy. I can see
Yes,
it.
yes.
Yes, I know.
People would come in and you would see them trying to make themselves love the house, and they would say, in the feedback, well, we like the floor plan, but I told her, I said, let's get a couple of coats of neutral paint. Do you know that thing sold the minute that paint dried?
It's crazy to me.
It's
And I'm a
crazy.
visual person, so I can walk into a space and I can appreciate that. But honestly, so my mom cannot do that. My mom is like, What's happening? Like, what are we gonna do?" Like, "Don't worry, mom, it'll be fine." But
Yes.
yeah, so no, so that's great. So you know what? This has been so much fun. Thank you so much for connecting with me and having me on here.
You're
And
very
I hope
welcome.
we've had some great value for your viewers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if people need to reach you, how can they reach you?
Well, Heather Sally Design. So you can find me on Instagram and you can find me on Facebook. I do have a, I think I do have a Google business page. I am working on upping my online presence.
It's called up level, not level up. You're up
I'm
leveling.
up leveling my, yes. So,
Yes.
I'm trying to post a little bit more on Instagram because, but it's like I said, it's been so busy. We just don't have time. But you can find me Heather Sally Design. Just
Right.
Google that and you can find me on whatever socials you want to find me on. And I'm on Clubhouse as well as Heather Sally
Yes.
Design as a total newbie.
Absolutely, and that's where we met. So, if you want the tips to prepare your house before staging, go ahead and comment or go ahead and inbox, and we'll make sure that we get those to you. And Heather is going to share a few before and after pictures, in which I'll be posting afterwards, just so that it could be a great follow up and a bridge to this conversation, and you may want to pass that on to someone that you know that may be selling in the near future. I'm Roz B, as Roz B, otherwise known as, my mother would say, please say your name, introduce yourself the right way.
I
It's
love it.
Rosalind Booker, Rosalind Booker.
Rosalind. I think
And
it's a
I
pretty
am,
name.
thank you. I am the principal broker, CEO of Arbrook Realty here in the North Texas area. We are a full service real estate company. And just wanted to let you know, real estate is what I do. But after 35 years of being in corporate America, a serial entrepreneur, and a mom, a nana, all the balls we juggle and all the hats we wear, I have had to develop a skill and some habits and attitudes to slay master my perfect day. If you want to join me at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow,
Oh, I'm
uh,
excited for that.
you can click the link in Instagram that says book now. If you're on LinkedIn, you can click the link in my description or bio. It's my link tree. Or you can find a post that says master your perfect day. I'm standing up in a blue top with the yellow pants posing like this. But you can find me on Clubhouse as Roz B. You can find me on any platform and you can click the link and join. So, Heather, do you have any closing comments or a quote or any encouragement before we end?
No, you know what? I guess what I will say is if you are looking to design, then go all in, enjoy your colors, choose the things that bring you joy. That's really, that's what design is all about for us.
Love that.
And if you got to sell, just go gray.
I love that too. That's amazing. And that's good tips and very good advice. So thank you, Heather. You have a great evening
Thank
in
you. I hope
Canada.
all you people in Texas are enjoying some good weather because it's still cold up here in Canada.
You know what? I am going. We can't fit 3 cars in the garage, so I'm actually going to put my car to take cover because we're about to endure a storm. So,
Okay, well, it's not snow, but it's not. Actually, you guys got snow, didn't you? Couple. Was it last year? You
you
guys
know
got
what? In Texas, we can go through
some.
3 seasons in 2 days. So, you know,
Okay.
it could be spring, it could be a blizzard, then a tornado. That's everything is
Now we've
bigger.
totally digressed.
Yeah. It's totally crazy. So, Heather, again, it's been a pleasure, lady, and we will count down 5, 4, 3, 2. And before we say 1, hey, Robert, hey, Deb. Deb says she's following you. Hey, Raquel. Hey,
Oh,
Michael.
nice.
Those
Yeah, and feel free to inbox me if you guys have any questions.
Yes, ma'am. Please hit her up. I looked her up and she's at the top of her game. Yeah,
Maybe,
in terms
maybe.
of what she does. A lot of experience. She's been doing this since she was 2, right?
Just the same as you, lady. Just the same as you.
A long time. Long time ago. But anyway, good night. We'll say 3,
Good
2,
night,
and
everybody. Thank
1.
you.
Bye-bye.